Now, I'll give you one that doesn't happen the way I've just done it. We've just done it in a webinar. You're most likely sitting by yourself. I know that. You might have one or two people around you. I know that. When I do this in a workshop with an audience, I got a couple of hundred people in front of me, or a couple of dozen people in front of me, I throw something else in. I ask you, I'd like you to work in teams of 3. No more, no less, if at all possible. So 3 is the optimal number. That's what I want you to work in. Now, why 3? Well, it's an unstable number. 3 people working together. 2's company, 3's a crowd. One person is left out because the other 2 start putting their heads together. There's a bunch of team building stuff in there. I'll ignore it for this thing. But I want you in groups of 3. Now, if you're in an audience or 20 or 30 people in a room, then chances are that, okay, some of you can get into groups of 3, but there's usually a couple of 1s and a couple of 2s scattered around the room that can't seem to get into group of 3s because they're not near anyone. And when I give groups of 3 instructions, there's actually an opportunity for someone to take a bit of a leadership role. In other words, okay, guys, we need to get into groups of 3. Let's start on the left-hand side, and we'll form up into our groups of 3. We'll move across the right-hand side of the room, and on the right-hand side of the room, then we'll have the remainders, and we can cluster those together in groups of 3. Sort of a poor example. If I said if you're not in groups of 3, then you won't get prize money or something. If I made it really important, then being in groups of 3 would be important. Sometimes I've done that. Even when I've done it, no one stands up and takes that leadership coordinating role. It's just not something we do. So we can use this as an example of why don't we form up? Why doesn't someone rise to the occasion and says, look, we need to coordinate this? And again, it has to do with the culture of our organization. It's not the thing that we do. It's sort of frowned upon.